Hi, Thomas Miller from the Fun Astrology Podcast. We have what's technically called a Saigoglin in the chart right now. That's an astrological term. No, it's not an astrological term. I'm just kidding. It's a North Carolina term, and they say, yeah, you got you a Saigoglin there whenever something isn't quite straight or right. You know, like you build a wall and it's a little crooked. Well, that's a Saigoglin. Well, that right there is a Saigoglin. And this is what's over the sky right now. This chart is for about sunrise on Monday, October 2nd in the East Coast where I am. But and we picked this apart on the Monday and Tuesday editions of the Fun Astrology audio podcast. Too much to do here, but I want to just point you to the audio podcast with this image in mind, because if you look at this, first of all, this big triangle right here is called a grand trine. And the planets involved in that are Mercury right there, and then over here we have Uranus and the moon. Those are the two to focus on, those two right there, because they are at that tip. And then, of course, Pluto, one of the transformational blues brothers, like I say, Pluto and Saturn is like Belushi and Aykroyd driving down the road. Well, that is a very powerful aspect. But then notice this little line right here and that little line right there, because that connects Pluto and Neptune and Uranus and Neptune. Uranus keeps coming up in this chart over and over and over, and that is the planet of sudden surprises. Wahoo! I had a Uranus moment last week from Audible when I got a big Audible check in the mail. That was a surprise, and it was in square here to Venus. So money, right? That's the kind of thing we're talking about can happen. Now, the other thing that's in this chart, look right here. See that green line right there, that subtle green line? And then there's another one coming right down here that ties Neptune and Uranus back on that sextile aspect. So there's a base. If you turn this sideways, think of this as the base down here with Neptune and Uranus. And then up at the top of that is Mars and the south node of the moon. And the thing about Mars and the south node of the moon, in Libra, no less, the money sign, it doesn't come around that often. The last time this was here in Libra was 1987. And in 1987, the stock market crashed 23% in one day. Now, we have a lot of policies and things in place called circuit breakers that could keep that from happening this time. But just to say, but look, personally, I had a money surprise, Uranus, and it was very positive. The coin in astrology always has two sides, so you have to see which side of the coin you're on. But there's another yod in this chart, and it involves, again, Mars and the south node of the moon at the base, and now Venus. So here, let's turn this way. We've got the south node of the moon and Venus, and it's pointing up to Neptune. All right? So those yods are fated energy, if you will. So I don't know what is going to happen from this. Predicting right now is just a fool's business in my game, because consciousness is changing too fast. But we'll pick this apart. We set the structure on Monday, go into the details of this on Tuesday. But just to say, there are a lot of surprises. There's a theme of transformation between Pluto and the south node of the moon. There's definitely this, what didn't get resolved in the past is coming forward. And then, of course, we have Neptune. And here's an interesting thing. So here's Mercury. That's our mind, our intellect, our ego. And here's Neptune. That's our spirit, our soul, our connection to the home office, the term I love to use. That is talking about basically the past, the physical. This is talking about the future, the spiritual, and they are in opposition. So there is this pull going on right now. You can feel it. You know it's there. You're experiencing some of it. There is this tension, and this chart has a lot of fated tension in it. And I'm just wondering if this is not the chart that sets up these eclipses that are coming later in the month of October. We'll talk about it all on the audio podcast. Come join us over there. Fun Astrology on all the major podcast players. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back soon.